Welcome to Computing at Home with Digital Schoolhouse. Here we're delivering out-of-the-box computing activities that are accessible, educational and fun. To all learners watching, remember you can pause the video at any time to take notes, collect your thoughts or take part in the activity alongside me. Parents and guardians, you might want to watch the next bit as it explains how to access our resources, but after that feel free to join in or sit nearby to supervise if you want to. Let's get started. For the computational thinking duck, you will need 6 Lego bricks. You'll need 2 2x3 plates, 1 2x4 brick, 2 2x2 bricks, and 1 1x2 brick. If you want your models to look like ducks, then we'd recommend you use the same colours as us, but it really doesn't matter. Use whatever you have at home. You might also like to use a phone or a digital camera to take photos of your models as you go along. Don't forget that our resources are available via the link below this video, and let's start this activity. If you'd prefer to access the resources via our website, go to digitalschoolhouse.org.uk, click on Resources, and then scroll down the page and find Playful Computing Activities and click on Activity Resources. Click on Discover More, and then in the list find the Computational Thinking Duck. From here you'll find all of the resources for this activity. Alternatively, you can click on the magnifying glass, type in Thinking Duck, click on Search, and the link that you're looking for will be the first one in the search results. And you'll find the resources in the list on the page. Feel free to pause the video now and collect your resources together. So what are we going to learn by completing this activity? Well, this activity links to all 5 of the computational thinking skills: algorithmic thinking, decomposition, abstraction, generalisation and evaluation. Don't worry if you've not heard of those words before. I'll explain more after the activity. Okay, so the first thing that I would like you to do is to take your 6 Lego bricks and build yourself a duck. I'll see you on the other side. So what did you end up with? Maybe you ended up with something that looked like this. Or you ended up with something that looked like this. Or maybe even you ended up with a duck that looks like this. Now this is really interesting because as humans we add our own prior knowledge and make the duck according to how we think it should look. However, computers don't have that ability. They simply follow the algorithm programmed within them. So when you're creating your duck, you're actually doing a little bit of abstraction. You're thinking about what parts of the duck are really important and will make it look like a duck and which parts aren't so important and you can leave them out. So for example, none of the ducks that I created have wings because I didn't have enough bricks for them and I didn't think it was all that important in just getting the general duck shape. I also haven't really thought about the colours. I knew I was only going to work with 2 colours, so I abstracted that information as well. Right, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your duck and you're going to take him apart. So break him back down into the original bricks, because what you're going to do is you're going to follow me with an algorithm and build one of my ducks, hopefully very precisely. Okay, hopefully your duck is apart and you're ready to take my instructions. So first of all, I'm going to give you verbal instructions for creating the duck and see how well I can give those instructions. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take one of the 3x2 plates and put that at the bottom. Then on top of that, you're going to take a 2x2 brick and you're going to place that on one side of the plate. On top of that, you're going to then place the 2x4 brick and you're going to place that centred on the 2x2 brick. On top of that, you're going to place the other plate, and the plate is going to be, you can have 2 of the studs, they're the little round bits on the brick. 2 of the studs are going to overhang and then the rest will actually clip onto the brick. Then you're going to take your 1x2 brick and that's going to fit on the very end of the 2x4 brick. It's going to fit perfectly right on the end, so no overhanging bits, just fits on the end. And then finally, the 2x2 brick that has the eyes on it, if you have one with eyes, that's going to go on top of the plate. It's going to leave the 2 studs overhanging, so there's going to be like a bit that sticks out, and then that 2x2 brick is going to fit on top. This time, let's try some written instructions. Pause the video and follow the instructions to see if you can create the duck. Finally, let's see if me giving the instructions while showing you what to do makes it any easier. So start with your 2x3 brick. On top of that, place a 2x2 brick, like so, with a little overhang just there. On top of that, you're going to place your 2x4 brick, and it's going to be centred on top of the 2x2 brick. On top of that, you're then going to take the 2x3 plate, and you're going to sit that so it's just got 2 studs just overhanging, like that. Then on top of that, you're going to get your other 2x2 brick. This is the one with the eye, if you have one with an eye. And that's going to sit just on the back of the 2x3 plate. And finally, your 2x1 brick is just going to fit on the end of your 2x4 brick. And you should end up with a duck that looks something like that. So after all of that, which one did you find easier? Did you find the verbal instructions, the written instructions, or the visual instructions the easiest to follow? My guess is that you probably found the visual instructions the easiest to follow. And that's because they were the ones that made you could have the most precise understanding of what the instructions were telling you to do. And that's really important with our computers as well. If we want them to do something and to do the thing correctly, we need to make sure our instructions are really clear and precise. Let's have a look at what you've learnt. First of all, we covered algorithmic thinking. That's because we looked at 3 different ways of giving instructions: written, verbal and visual. Then we looked at decomposition. That's because you split your duck into 6 parts, into 6 bricks. Then we looked at abstraction, and we thought about what parts of a duck you could get rid of and still end up with something that looks like a duck. You also, if you've ever done any Lego building yourself, will have used some generalisation. That's because you will have learnt skills that were transferable from your building of other things to building your duck. And finally, we've done some evaluation and thought about which of the 3 ways of giving instructions worked best for this activity. If you've really enjoyed this activity, here are some suggestions for extension activities. Why not try to build a new model from 6 bricks? Then you can test different types of instructions for your model. You can try visual, verbal and written instructions, maybe on somebody who lives in your house like your mum or your dad, or a brother or sister. Or you could even try drawing the instructions like Lego do. Thank you for taking part. I hope you've had fun and learnt something new. If you have any questions or feedback for me, please email dsh@uki.org.uk. Now, we'd love to see you learning computing at home with Digital Schoolhouse. Parents and guardians, feel free to share any images or videos using the hashtag computingathome on Twitter or on Facebook. You can find our contact information in the section below or at the end of this video. Lastly, I wanted to say a huge well done for taking part today. I'm Estelle and I look forward to seeing you next time.